In our most recent video, I had a lot of people ask about the 3D printer because there's a strong interest in the RC community, which is what our channel primarily focuses on, and the crossover between this and this, and being able to make something come to life from pretty much nothing. And I think it's amazing. I've been obsessed with this since I got it, and so I want to talk about this 3D printer in particular, specifically in this video, but also my experience with 3D printers, so you guys know that I'm not just starting with this. I actually have a little bit of a basis to stand on and compare to. So this printer is basically the flagship of Bambu Lab. Bambu Lab is an amazing company that has created a strong name for themselves over the last couple of years. I think maybe a year and a half is when I've taken a strong notice, and this is maybe a little overkill for what most people want to accomplish, but I'm so happy with it and never want to look back from what I've started with, which I think is important to establish. So if you've been shopping around, you've probably heard of both of these names. I started my 3D printing with an Ender, the original, not the V3 that everybody loves now and uses as a print farm, and it worked. I got it to work. I leveled the bed, I did the little paper between, the print nozzle. I did everything you're supposed to do, and I printed some toys. I printed Duplo tracks for my kids. I printed a few fun little gimmicky things, and it was fun. It wasn't perfect, but man, it was cool to just see something come to life. And that was like 7 or 8 years ago. And over time, it just stopped working good. The prints would start, and then they'd turn into a little blob of nothing. And I couldn't figure out why. I do this. I do RC stuff. I don't do this. At least I didn't at the time. So I wanted to finally upgrade. I was addicted to that when I first started. So I ended up going all out, and I got a Flash Forge Creator Pro 2. If you're not familiar with that one, it's also an enclosed printer, so there's a case around it. The Ender was not. Okay, so it got dust on the bed, and that glass bed was awful. This one had 2 extruders too, which is really cool. This one does not have.
Bye-bye. Hi, buddy.
This one does not have 2 extruders, but it does have this thing on top called an AMS, which allows you to print in multiple colors, and you can pull things off, like instead of doing one solid color on a product like this, you can print. This isn't my design, but it's something for my daughter for Valentine's Day. This took 14 hours to print because of the multicolor, but it switches colors in between every layer, and you can pull off things like this. None of that's painted. That's all just printed with 3 different colors of filament, which is amazing. That detail in that is insane, and I'm just starting out, so I'm sure I can clean that up a little more too. The Flash Forge Creator Pro 2 had dual extruders, remember? And I had a left and a right, and you had 2 colors in the back, and you can either print 2 things simultaneously, or theoretically you can print 1 thing with 2 colors, kind of like this one. And it switches back and forth between those 2 extruders. My right extruder worked great. My left extruder never worked. I couldn't get it to work at all. So the successful prints that I had were only like 3, and it was from the right extruder on that. And I bought that brand new. I contacted customer service. They made some small effort, like a reply. They said they would tell their technical team that it was doing that, but I never heard back from them. And it got so discouraging and so disheartening. And I just fell out of the 3D printing world. That happens in hobbies, doesn't it? You try something, you think you might be good at it, you really give it a good solid go, and if you think you're no good, it's very disheartening. And sometimes, and I'm really good at advising people in the world of RC, don't get the wrong plane for your first plane. You'll have a bad first experience and you'll fall out of the hobby. Same thing applies to this that I've learned. You get the wrong printer as your first printer, and you're gonna think like me for years that you're bad at it, and you'll fall out of that hobby. So enter the Bambu Labs X1C or Carbon. This thing has the ability to print multiple types of filaments, but I'm just using basic PLA. And what you're looking at are snow skis. I've 3D printed snow skis. Abby, you wanna go over here and show them the TheRcSaylors sitting there? I 3D printed for fun, for myself, snow skis for the TheRcSaylors. Turns out they work pretty darn good. They work great on ice and packed snow, but they're not so good at fluffy snow. So I'm doing some little development and just playing around with, trying to modify this so that it works better in fluffy snow. But the point is, they do still work, and if you're interested, I'm going out on a limb here, but I've got a little Etsy shop opened up where if you guys want to support us and buy directly from us, you can buy 3D printed snow skis from me. And I've got about 5 printed. Remember, I only have 1 printer, and it takes a while to get a set of these out. Now, if you're just doing it for fun, you can make from nothing with this amazing printer a set of snow skis in just a few hours. But when you're talking about trying to sell something to get it out to people, I have no idea if 0 of these will sell or if 20 of these will sell. If 20 sell, I've got work cut out for me.
What are you doing about the colors?
So yeah, good question. I printed in blue because I had blue filament and I ran out of blue. I printed 5 sets and some toys and things. Like, this is super fun to
So are you doing another listing for green?
No, I've just put in the listing that the color is subject to change. From start to finish on this printer, it's insanely easy. You do not have to use your smartphone, but there's this crazy app, Bambu Lab. And you can search for tons and tons and tons of products that the community has made that you can just wirelessly send to your 3D printer, and it starts printing that thing, just like this did. This is exactly how I printed this. I found it, it was trending because Valentine's Day is coming, and I hit print and it sent it, and I got to pick the colors, right? I could have done like green body with gold eyes, just whatever colors I had. So the start process is very easy of using this. You can also pop in a micro SD card and print something that you've downloaded. It doesn't have to be from their app. You can go to Thingiverse and save it after it's been sliced and pop it in, and it will print. And you have this awesome little touch screen that tells you how the print went. It's a press of a button and you can start your print. And as things go, this has cameras and lights inside that can help monitor things. If it runs out of filament, or you have an old, dry, or wet filament and it breaks, it'll detect that and it'll pause the print. And this has happened to me once, and I was able to refill, my filament ran out. So I put another spool in and I finished the print. Now, it's not always going to be able to save it, but it's awful when you're 80% into a print and your filament runs out and the printer just keeps going, and you've wasted your time and your print. This one does everything it can to avoid that. When the print is finished, also you can monitor this. It has a live camera that you can pull up on your phone to watch the print live, which is amazing. And this is one of my favorite features. I pulled that print bed out. Now, on my old Ender and the other Flash Forge, the beds were in there, so you had to be able to pop those things off and hope they came off clean. If they didn't, you were trying to scrape the old plastic off of there. I want you guys to see this. I'm gonna give this a little bend, and this just slides off, and so does this one. That is how easy my prints are to pull off of this bed. And this is just a little extruder, basically like a flow calibration that it prints, so that's a bit of a waste, but it helps the print come out at a much higher level of quality. And then you can easily clean this when you need to with soap and water, or isopropyl alcohol, and then just slide it back in, and it's magnetized to the heated print bed. It's also significantly faster than those other printers that I had too. This is a little bit on the higher price of 3D printers. Bambu Lab, which we'll have linked in the description box below. Also,
Barbie emergency interruption.
I'm just cleaning up. So this does this really cool thing where it prints these trees for support, and that just gives you a much better print. And I break them off and kind of clean it up before it goes to the Etsy store. So that's a left ski ready to go for someone now. But Bambu Lab, they also make, I was going to go for the A1 Mini, but it has a print bed that's like half the size or so of this one. And you know, you could print some really cool little fidgety cube things that I've made, and those are super fun, just a little toy. But you know, I wanted to be able to do some bigger things too, like this, so that makes a big difference. But their prices are, they really have a good plethora of options for really just about anyone's price point getting into it. And now that I've had this experience with Bambu Lab, I can very confidently tell you I will never, at least in today's current market and for the foreseeable future, ever consider any other 3D printer or company. I'm actually going to potentially maybe pick up another one of their printers just for like testing for the channel, because there's already been a strong interest in our viewers, not just RC planes and cars and stuff, but people are strongly interested in this too. And you know, I've done all kinds of fun little toys just to do test prints. Like this is one of my most intricate ones, which I love. He prints in a bunch of little pieces and you put them together like a puzzle, but he articulates so well. This is all printed out of PLA, just the stuff that this is made out of. I mean, isn't that so cool? I did not design this. This is someone else's design. And then you can see just...
He also made a, that's a puzzle that we don't know how to do.
Yes.
Supposedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
And there's just so many fun things, but also useful things too. Like my battery holder over there. You know, that's a really cool little useful thing. I used to have batteries scattered all over my desk all the time for years, and now they're all in one little place and I can just pull them out. And I made Abby a little food scraper. That was the last thing that I pulled off of this, so we can scrape food out of the sink and dirty dishes. And for me too, I'm not just Abby, but if you're just doing this as a hobby for fun, it's insanely fun and extremely addicting. And the success rate, people like to say it's about a 90% success rate, but knock on wood, so far, I'm more like a 99% success rate on prints. And it's because of the technology behind this 3D printer. This is literally just the tip of the iceberg. I have no idea where this will bring me. If you guys are interested in buying stuff off of me, the Etsy store is linked there. As of right now, it's just these snow skis, and I only have a handful of them. So, you know, I'm looking for feedback from you guys. Do you, what else? Maybe you can give me print ideas that you'd like to see in our store. Maybe I can make it happen. I've got other ideas myself too, but for now, I am just in love with the ability to print things successfully. They have made it so easy and with a high success rate for people that it blows me away. So, linked in the description box below. Their filament is competitively priced, also linked in the description box below. Abby reminded me there, turn off all your plugins like Honey. Those are stealing credit from YouTubers and content creators and ad blockers. Turn those off just when you click the link, because there's a huge lawsuit against Honey right now, which is owned by PayPal, because they're stealing millions of dollars of commission from YouTubers without people actually knowing that it's happening. They're very sneaky about it, so that's a big deal going on right now. So if you plan on buying one, that's a great way to support us, and a really, really good way to support us too is check out these on the Etsy store. Give me some feedback. I will make a dedicated video to this soon so you can see them functioning, but I can tell you they do work. They work well on ice and packed snow. They do not work very well on fluffy snow. If it's just like a light powder, that kind of sinks in. So they're not perfect, but they work extremely well on packed snow and ice. I'm doing this video because it was viewer requested and because I want to. So if you guys have ideas for content that you'd like to see on our channel, please let us know in the comments, and we'll do everything we can to make it happen. This is a fun time of year where like not a lot of new things are coming out in the RC world. It gives us an opportunity to be creative. We're stuck inside, and this is such a fun winter hobby that I'm sure will lead into summer months too. So thank you for the content ideas and requests to those of you that did ask. Massive thanks to God for blessing us with this opportunity to get in front of the camera and share this experience with you guys. We are so grateful for the time that you share with us, and we hope that you know we care about you and God loves you, and we hope you're having a great day. Also, I want to say a massive thanks.
Your guy just broke.
No, it didn't break. It just his ankle. See, it's a little ball joint, and I was messing around with it, and I just got to pop it back in. I also want to say a massive thanks to our Patreon supporters, because without you guys, we couldn't do the content as often as we do. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts. Now, I don't have a lot of content like this on the channel, so I think the best thing to do is to show you kind of what we do. So we'll have a hand-picked video of like a regular RC video, in case you're new to the channel, popping up right about now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you there.
Bye!